Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here, Alliance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. It is Mopar Monday. It's a train wreck of a day and night. It is 10:20 p.m. I need to work out, shower, go to bed, but here we are. And, I've kind of got just a litany of things going wrong here, but I realized I just did a DRPD haul. I've learned to get my stuff out of here because I never know how these videos will release, and I don't want to like spoil anything or have it backlogged like the Snap-on videos. So long story short, in that video I pulled out a set of sockets and I said, yeah, and we've got the Protos over here. Gonna go ahead and get those to work. Don't know why I haven't taken them to work. I hadn't taken them to work because I hadn't made the video on them, for frick's sake. So what we have here is a very quick Zoro tool haul. And, in part because it's late at night and I'm an idiot. But what we're gonna do is just get started right here. Glorious little box from Proto. It is going to be their part number J47104. If you look, aside from made in the USA, you're going to see it's a socket set, quarter drive, 10 piece. What's the 12P? 12 point. So, I'll open it up. And you're thinking like, I'll be danged, it is all there. And it sure is. Spring steel rails. I had really good luck with Proto back in the day. I have not recently with their spring steel rails. That's going away. We're going to Ernst. It's going to be awesome. This little bag of goodness, that's what I'm after. And what we've essentially done at work in the roll cart, kind of got my bread and butter stuff covered right, and I want to get quarter 12 point. Why? It's honestly just a situation where the size, the compactness, and the thinner wall, sometimes the 3/8 is very, very, very difficult to seat, let alone ½ inch. Isn't going to happen. There's a couple of situations where I either have to modify a socket for fitment, or you have to go quarter drive. Sometimes the quarter drive is even tight. In that case, I just go back to 3/8 and grind. But I kind of have some special sockets for certain applications. But right here, this is Proto. It is made in America. This is the ½ inch. This set should run me up through 9/16, which is awesome. What is going to be the most used out of this set for me? The three biggest sizes. All right, 7/16, ½ and 9/16. Beyond that, quarter, 5/16, 3/8, yes, 3/8 probably, as you might have expected from what I just said, going to be the fourth most used. You can almost just go in reverse order. And 3/8, 7/16, ½ and 9/16 will see the majority of the work. Quarter and 5/16 on, stuff like oddball things like clamps, things along those lines. But in terms of like functional hardcore stuff, these three sockets will be the jam. And, again, I personally am a huge fan of 12 point. If you've got like a machining background, if you have tight quarters and confines as a background, 12 point is awesome. It gives you twice as many, if you score at home, the chance of catching a fastener. Now 12 point fastener, sure, usually with that I'm 3/8 or ½ inch drive, but in the event you had a very compact area and the sidewall, again, you're going to hear me say sidewall a lot because that's one of the huge selling points of 12 point and quarter drive. It's just kind of an access thing. And then again, if it's a difficult spot and you're cramped up in a weird angle, you double your chances of catching a corner of the fastener. 12 point fastener, sure, but again, just standard 6 point, you've got a lot going in your favor here. The other thing in your favor here is the price point of these things, which was $46.56. That's a really good buy. That's an American-made, high-quality socket. Again, I've got years and years and years of experience with Proto. If I didn't like it, if I didn't think it was a good value, you wouldn't see me bringing it in and buying it. I'll have this linked. I don't make jack when I do that. It's literally for your convenience. And I kind of think that price might have been before my discount. Now, unfortunately, here lately, Zoro has been getting pretty strict. They do this from time to time with their discounts. I don't know what the deal is. I got one the other day that said site-wide, like 20% site-wide. And I'm like, okay, cool. This time they won't screw around and take the discount away from me. Threw some stuff in my cart I'd been wanting, and they said, no. No 20% for you. And so what do? I exit the site because I ain't paying full retail. It's still a good price, don't get me wrong. But the reason I go there is to pair the discount on top of a good price. So maybe they'll stabilize, like they don't have quite the volume, or they're like, who are we missing? And it's like, well, it's those, you know, tool snobs and forum people and YouTube watchers that come in and do all this stuff. And you're like, yeah, maybe we should, you know, reinstate that. So I don't know how things work on that front. Maybe it's permanent, who knows. But I do remember this being a problem back in the day. I'd buy, and then it's like, well, they're not letting me put the 20% on it. They're not even taking my 10%. What's the deal? And I don't know what their logic is. I just know when it doesn't work, and that's usually when I don't buy, unless it's something I've got to have. So that said, something else I had wanted for forever, and this is almost always more expensive than the half-inch drive, which the only thing I can think that would prompt that is if it's just not as in demand. The half-inch cell is just produced in volumes greater than this, which would make sense, especially, you know, when you think of like Proto and Industrial, and it's probably going to be half over 3/8. But this item from Proto would be 8718. You're like, well, what is it? You know, you got my curiosity piqued. And I'll tell you, it's not a repeat offender, but it's a similar offender. It is their part number J7277L. Again, a lot of the times, if you don't want to buy online, or you don't trust Zoro, or you're miffed because they won't give you the 20%, there's a very good chance your Mac guy could get it. Again, will he want to sell you Proto instead of Mac? I don't know. It's something you could discuss with them. But J7277L, boom. You think, what is that? Extensions? Oh, wait. Locking extensions. And you said it was 3. Okay, yeah, I remember you brought in the half-inch locking extensions. I really wish I would have bought another set of those and just taken those to work, and then had the set here as well. What I have a problem with, this is like my one complaint with Proto, and I totally get why they would do it, and it's also kind of like a safety thing, but when you buy extensions from Proto, not your standard chrome that have the cool knurling and everything I like, but like an impact extension, right? I wish I had one here to show you. You don't just have the chrome equivalent, right? You don't come in here, and I know this isn't even 3/8 socket, but you don't get to put that on, okay? You have a stupid, annoying little detent. Like, this is, again, it goes back in time. If you're industrial, or, you know, they really, really do safety stuff at your place of work, you don't just have a little spring ball, right, like you do on a chrome extension. You don't have locking like this. You have, like, the pin. Some of the Vera stuff has that, and then you're coming over here, and this is why I always have, like, little drill bits and picks sitting around so I can push down on it and take my socket off, all right? And it's really freaking annoying. It truly, truly is a pet peeve. And they don't make a standard, like, normal person version. If you go and you buy Pittsburgh, or Tecton, or Capri, or Icon even, like, you just get, it's basically a chrome extension. Hopefully it's moly for impact. A lot of the times it's not with the cheaper ones. But it would be the same thing. You just plug and play. That is not the case with Proto. They have the pin. And again, I get it. It's safety. It's safe for you. But man, does it suck, especially for something like this. It's going to be used, you know, most likely on a ratchet. Okay. Maybe you put it on a 3/8 drive impact. I don't know. But right here, I really hate not having a long neck. Maybe I didn't take advantage of some sales recently and correct that situation. But if I pull this off, all right, my long neck is super beat up and at work, and I just like it way better than the short profile. If I've got this impact socket, and I come in here, and I rip this down, and we set her in, we're going to lock in place. And these do a phenomenal job of just that. I say that, and I cannot get this guy to lock, which is par for the course. This day, I'm telling you, it has not gone well. It just absolutely has not gone well. I don't know what's going wrong in the world, but it is problematic. There we go. This guy's going to do it. So, right here, I'm not sure you'll be able to see it. If you come down there, do you see that little pin? That is what Proto's standard impact extensions have. Granted, it's a lot bigger, and it doesn't retract. Like, if you see me pull down on the sweet knurled collar, that pin retracts and I can take that off. That little step, which this is minor, it usually comes up about this tall. It almost comes up, I'd say, 3/5 of the way up the cavity. And this is very important. You have to use that cavity in order to release the pins. I talked to my Mac guy, and I was like, man, you know, like, I wonder if I can just, like, buy some Mac extensions. Surely they wouldn't be expensive. They're the same way. He checked, he pulled out the old paper catalog, and he's like, man, you're right. You know, those things all have that tab on them. And I don't want that, especially for this, because this, I'm not going to lie, is what I will do at work. Okay, we're going to come in, and I'm going to do that. I have a really long, I think it might be longer than this one, extension that I almost always have to run with these like 4 or 5 certain things. And that thing just gets beat up, and I think, you know, I really wish I wasn't using the Chromie. I wish I just had the impact one. And sometimes, depending on what idiot has shot lag screws in, I kind of need a little bit of a flex to it. And when I do that, I usually pop the socket off, right? I can kind of get the bend with the play here just at the anvil side of the ratchet itself. It's nothing major. It's not like I need some flex worm or something. But with this, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to preserve the life of the chromies, which I would never use them on an impact, but on a ratchet, this is basically me using a hand tool, but way faster. I'm okay with it, but I'd prefer this. This is what we've got now. And this, though, I'm going to keep at home for those same reasons. And what I'm actually going to do at work is probably just break down and buy some cheap ones. I think Icon I'd prefer over the Pits, but this is a pretty good buy. Again, the 3/8 is routinely more expensive than the 1/2 inch, which again, kind of crazy when you think about it. But what we have here, since I don't think it was included in the descriptions, and man, I don't even have a tape here. Is there a stare-it ruler? There's supposed to be a stare-it ruler. We got nothing. You know, we're just going to say like 3, 6, and 12. Or something like that. Let's just roll with that. Maybe I'll check it off camera here. But very, very nice. You can find something similar. I don't know if Proto's the OEM or someone else is making those for a couple of companies. But these are stupid, stupid nice locking extensions. This looks bulky. It's not egregiously bad, but yes, there are going to be times where if you just had the smooth taper of the shaft without this knurling, you'd get access to where you need to go. This might stop you. But again, if you've got a situation where you're constantly having things fall off, whether it's another extension, whether it is just the socket sticking on the bolt or catching on, you know, like the housing. Think of bell housing bolts, for example. These locks are phenomenal. And again, this one's very high quality. Again, Proto, it's made in America. They're just really, really nice. And again, I so wish they just made a normal, poor person, cheap impact extension. But they don't, so here we are with their locking ones. The other thing I was going to do, my hands are absolutely filthy, just to showcase these at work. What is my quarter drive ratchet of choice? It is a Mac Axis 9-inch. And so picture, if you will, like a really, really nasty red, because they didn't have the colors at the time. And this is what I will be doing and pairing them with. Again, super nice profile there, the thin wall. It's going to be a good combination. I think it's going to serve me very, very well. Just because we can. Let's spice it up. We got the locking flex here. This one's not quite as tight as the 3/8. But again, there you go. That is the setup. Again, Max 90s were just announced at the Tool Fair in, what was it? Basically, Washington, D.C., like some harbor of some sort, East Coast stuff. But looking forward to checking those out. I think my dealer, I don't know what he picked out for me, but I told him to get me a 3/8 orange. I wasn't sure what lengths and sizes they'd have, so I'll talk to him Wednesday, hopefully, kind of see what goes down. But yeah, this is another wreck of a video because, quite frankly, I just don't have the time I need to do some of this stuff. And I have to rush and just get it cranked out so I can have the crud at work and get some other things done and repair appliances and all sorts of things that eat into what would be your free time. So yeah, that is what we did. Again, hoping that 20% kind of comes back around, because that was kind of my route with the Proto stuff, so we'll see. They haven't taken it off everything, but a lot of the stuff they just made discount exempt, and it really sucks. And again, if they do that, I respond accordingly. I'm not going to buy. So well, that's something, hopefully they figure it out. But once again, I don't think you can go wrong with that socket set, 1/4 to 9/16, 12 point, made in America for $40. It's a no-brainer. Same thing here. These are spendy, but they're probably the best impact extensions you can get. And for $87, 3 pieces, you think, well, American-made, spring, locking. It's got a lot going for it. That's sort of where you just have to come in and say, yeah, we'll pull the trigger. So that's what we did, basically. 29 a piece. We want to math it out and have sizes accordance. You do that. But I might wind up with a set of these for work. Maybe I won't. Like I said, I kind of think I'm just going to, since I don't run them on a 3/8 impact at work, right? It's a ratchet. It's a battery-powered, long neck Hercules ratchet. I think I might just do the Icon route. And again, that's just because I would prefer chrome moly over chrome vanadium on something, even if it's just spinning. But the main thing, like if that chrome, I really do practice what I preach, but I have to have the long extension. I only have it in chrome. And if that ever takes enough abuse, where it's just rubbing paint onto it and riding on crates and stuff, if the chrome starts to flake and my hand's down here trying to hold it on one of those stupid lag screws that they shot in at some idiotic angle, if that chrome goes, my hands get diced up, my gloves get cut through, who knows what's going to happen. It's not pretty. I eliminate that issue when I go with something black phosphate impact rated. So it's just really just more of a peace of mind, safety type of a thing. But like I said, these, I do run 3/8 impacts here at the house. At work, it's 1/2 inch or bust, basically, if you're using an impact. This, I've got the sockets, I've got semi-deep, why not? And again, I'll just pair it as well with the ratchet. So on that front, again, my apologies for kind of having to rush through this thing, but I was sitting there and I was like, wait, I never did make a video on the Proto sockets. I was about to haul off with them to work. And they'll be joined by this. That's all I'll tell you. In case, again, I never know how these videos are going to be released. And I've got a snap-on bottleneck because I foolishly showcase, I'm like, hey, look at this product from Snap-on. Let's compare it to some of our other stuff. And yeah, then when I bring in, even from Zoro, I have the Zoro bottlenecked because of Snap-on. It's just a dumb situation, and I didn't think it would take this long to get to 10,000, and yeah. I try to learn from my mistakes, make a lot of them, and as long as I learn from them, we're good. But man, does it create a bottleneck that really sucks, because then I'm spoiling other videos, and I try not to do that for entertainment value for you. But again, Zoro, they've got really good prices, but they're way, way better with your 20% off, right? So this stuff, you can't go wrong with Proto. Again, I say it all the time, Proto and Koken, in terms of a known commodity, a known quality for a fantastic price. You really can't do better than those two brands. You might have something you like better, you think performs better, but you're probably paying significantly more money than you would with Proto or Koken. So pick your poison if you want to divide it. You're a fan of both companies, go metric Koken, SAE Proto. If you don't use SAE at all, or you don't use metric at all, you could do 1/4, 3/8, 1/2, divide it up. You could mix the entire socket. Every other socket's Proto or Koken. Whatever you do with those two brands, you're going to get a fantastic price and a fantastic product, and you come out on top. So, like I said, I do practice what I preach. And I will be, as soon as there's a sale, because you also know I'm not cheap. I'm thrifty. So we ain't paying full price for Icon impact extensions either. We're going to wait till we get 20-25% off and go to town at that point. So with that said, if you've got suggestions, you're like, man, these impact extensions are great and they don't have the pin, or if you're just like, ooh, an impact extension without the safety pin, how dare you? Like I said, my whole life, and it's usually been air ratchets, which very, very fast spinning things. I kind of just have always run a normal extension, and it's kind of what I'd like to do. So we'll take it from there. I'll quit rambling. Hope you enjoyed. If you got any thoughts or opinions, feel free to share them down below. With that, especially if you know, like, who is the OEM on these? Do several people make them? I haven't really bothered to research it. I just know that they're super nice, and I've had good luck with them. But, yeah, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. By the way, the battery light, for those of you that keep tabs, it's been flashing the whole video. Living on the edge, are we not? But LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, if you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. Sometimes we're not rushed late at night on a Monday, but sometimes we are. And if you enjoy that sort of a thing, you subscribe, you ring the bell, you jump your Charger across the creek while wielding your Proto 3-piece 3/8 drive locking impact extension set. YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time, as long as the bottleneck doesn't keep me from doing that. Anyway, but with that said, I do hope you enjoyed. I thank you for watching. Most importantly, I hope you stick around for more action from the shop. Alright, real quick, I want to try and go through this. I was trying to put everything up and get inside because it's super late, but beautiful little setup here. This comes from a guy that is not red. This will be going on blue ones in the box, but I wanted to set it up. Thought we'd kind of showcase the red since we have it. The set contents here, if you're concerned, I don't remember what I said. I'm tired and under pressure here. 3/16 through 9/16, 10 pieces. So what is that fractionally speaking? 3/16, 7/32 quarter. And then we're going to go from, 8/32 to, you guessed it, 9/32. That one fits very weird. I don't know what the deal is with it. I think it's kind of like a machining issue. Then we've got 5/16, 11/32. Then you get into my bread and butter sizes, the 4 big ones. 3/8, 7/16, half, and 9/16. Again, you rarely see me with the red Ernst rails, so I thought that'd kind of be a cool little setup there. But, that's what we got. That's what I'm going to have to load up here, get to work. I do hope you enjoyed. Again, a little bonus action for you. And we'll catch you in the next one.